Welcome to New York Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival. Name this movie. Welcome to New York Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival. Name this movie. Welcome to New York. So we have a very special situation today. This is the first beta test of the only and first and foremost sci-fi online game show. And we, the Philip K. Dick Film Festival, is the first to pioneer this. So I'm really excited about the few who showed up. I wasn't really expecting a large turnout because based upon the emails I sent out. So for all purposes, what I'll do today is it will be a beta test of what the future show will be about. And in fact, those who are present may have an opportunity to get a tack at it and see if they can answer some of the questions. Now, ordinarily, I would have a series of questions like your traditional game show, but I want to make it a little bit more challenging. I don't want to just pick up an index card. And for instance, perfect example for those who are familiar. For instance, which Philip K. Dick film adaptation screened at the 2012 Philip K. Dick Film Festival? So that's the kind of thing I would usually be doing. But I think I decided to go ahead with a lot more challenging, which is what I'll be doing is in the next couple of films, I'll be showing you little clips of films. And these films don't have a sound. They only have just the image. Now, 9 out of 10 of the films are independent films. These are films that you probably have heard of seen. We're not going to be focusing too much on Hollywood blockbusters simply because they already are getting way too much attention. But I feel these films that you'll be watching tonight, or clips of them, really represent like what I consider some of the best in the sci-fi out there. So I'm really excited to have this program. Now, before I begin, I want to give you a couple of updates on what's happening in the next few weeks. On Saturday, I will be holding an interview with Dr. Andrew Silverman on is the author of A Burst of Conscious Light, and he will be discussing the Shroud of Turin, near-death experiences, quantum mechanics, and a lot of good stuff. So that this will be at 1 p.m. EST, and the following Thursday, I will be holding an interview with Richard Tunney, who is a barrister from Sweden, and he's written extensively on transhumanism. So 2 shows that are upcoming. I hope you guys can catch it because it will be an exciting opportunity for you to go ahead and learn a little bit about the themes that surround Philip K. Dick. So let me see what, before we move forward, I just want to check one thing, and great. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now start off, as I said, regard this as a beta test. So clearly being the very first online sci-fi game show, we'll be tuning over the next couple of weeks and months to make it perfect. But in the meantime, I want to just get it out and really start getting the ball rolling. And one thing, if this is successful, I will also be promoting it at the Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival and through our associate friends at the New York Sci-Fi Film Festival for those who are logging in from the New York Sci-Fi channel. As you know, film is a collaborative effort, and we really need to stick together to really deal with the challenges that all in these independent film festivals. And as you all know, we really don't receive any special sponsorships Those tend to go to the very, very large, generic-looking festivals. You can only think of a few. But in the meantime, we rely on your help and, more importantly, your attendance and really support. So the most important thing you guys can do is to make sure you click on if you're on YouTube right now, please click on that YouTube. Give us a like so that the YouTube algorithm can continue to move us up the ranks. And if you're on Facebook, please like this page. Every bit helps so we can get the word out. So without any further ado, I'm gonna show you one film, and I'm gonna give you be 30 seconds and see if you can catch the film. Okay, so I will
Doctor, will you tell these fools I'm not crazy? Make them listen to me before it's too late! Listen to me. Please listen. If you don't, if you won't, if you fail to understand, then the same incredible terror that's menacing me will strike at you!
That should give you some idea of what this film is about. And actually, the sound was there. So I'm not sure how that got in, but I wanted to see how it looks. So, okay. So far, nobody's really is responding here. I'm going to give everybody a few seconds more to think about it. And if you have an idea of what this film is, please comment on below, and we'll get a much better idea of what we are talking about. What film this is? I guess the name of the show is Name This Movie, and it is a produced and organized by the Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Film Festival. Okay. Well, I don't think anybody answered, hasn't. Okay. Well, again, this is going to take a little bit of time for everybody to jump on board. But the name of the movie is the 1956 classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Now, some of these films may be going way back, so I don't expect a lot of people to really pick up on it. Most likely, you guys have heard of the 1978 version of the Body Snatchers, which had Leonard Nimoy and Donald Sutherland. But that's number one. Okay, great. So I'm going to go on to film number 2. Clip number 2. Okay. Again, this is going to get a little bit harder with each one. Here you go. There is no sound here. This is a French film. So, and it came out in the early 60s. Early 60s. And I'm going to give you guys a hint. This was a film that there was a band from the early 80s that used the same name as the film. A pop, kind of a new wave pop band. Okay. 10 more seconds to go. 10 more seconds to go. Okay, so I'll give you one more hint. The name of the pop song was called Made Live in Japan, or Made in Japan. Okay. Well, I know it's going to take a little bit of thinking here. That's the whole idea of getting this show on beta. But the name of the movie is called Alphaville. And so there was a band that came out in the, I believe, in the early 80s. And I believe it was live in Japan. And they borrowed that name from the movie. And they had two amazing hits. Okay, fantastic. Let's move on. The next one, again, and this is a good one. Okay. Again, no sound here. There is a reason. Since we're streaming on YouTube, we need to do this to avoid any issues with with YouTube and other streamers. Okay. Again, some of these are challenging. Again, this was the early 70s, but I will give you another hint. The director of this film was the effects, I guess, manager or producer in Blade Runner. Okay. The director of this film worked in Blade Runner. So that should give you an idea who the director is. Or the name of the film. Okay, so the name of the film is Brainstorm, with a very young Christopher Walken, and the director is Douglas Trumbull. Remember him? Effects, Blade Runner, and 2001. So very interesting. I believe this is all these films, but I believe I highly recommend you watch. Brainstorm is highly underrated. Unfortunately, can't understand why. It's really a visionary film. Douglas Trumbull poured a ton of money into it. Had Cliff Robertson. Had clearly a Christopher Walken, and unfortunately didn't that well at the box office. So he was unfortunately so disappointed with the box office and the politics that he decided to continue in FX and not to do any more or direct any more films. However, the film is a masterpiece, and it's called Brainstorm. All right, on to the next film. Now, I want you guys to catch the following. This film came out. I'm going to give you a hint. This film came out in 1998, and it came out at a time when there were a lot of other films, such as Fight Club. Okay, now this is an indie film, but you guys should know if you follow any kind of indie cinema. This one, it's a very powerful film, and the director did very well at Sundance, and he went on to make bigger and larger films, not necessarily better, but bigger and larger. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, any ideas? Okay, the name of the film was Pi, and Darren Aronofsky. That was his breakthrough film. It won Best Audience Award, I believe, at Sundance, 1988. He was awarded over $1 million, and he went on to make other films such as Requiem for a Dream and others as well in the last few years. So, name is Pi. Again, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a great film, and it really is. He shot at MOS without sound. He dubbed it afterwards, and he supposedly spent less than $100,000 on it. And so now this one, I don't expect many to pick up, simply because it's another one of those visionary psychedelic sci-fi that's been highly underrated. And again, I believe you can catch this next film on YouTube for free. So here we go. Okay. Two fellows working in the garage. They're working on something. And this something is going to change their lives. Great. So the film won again at Sundance, and it supposedly was shot for $60,000. But what they didn't tell you is that when they shot it on Super 16, but when they blew it up to 35 millimeter, they needed to secure another $500,000. A little side detail, which they never mentioned. Okay, the name of the film was Primer, 2004, dealing with time travel. And some physicists have actually said that's one of the best time travel films ever. Go figure. Because I watched the film like 3 times and still couldn't figure it out. There are a lot of, in fact, it was so complicated that the director actually sent out a book. He published a book on how to understand Primer. But yet, despite the fact it was impossible, very difficult to follow, it did very well. And the director, Shane Carruth, went on to make other indie films. Okay, so here we come to the last film, and this is not an indie. This is actually mainstream. And there's this final piece of the film that it really figures significantly in the whole film at all. There's one little piece. If you didn't catch this, you didn't catch the film. So here we go. Is Primer. Primer. And there you have it. So this was a very short run. My goal is to get a sense from the people who will be watching and the ones who watch right now, a sense of in terms of gauging the difficulty of the films. Being a sci-fi fanatic, I've seen so many, I figure everybody knows them, but then again, not everybody's on the same level of enthusiasm or commitment to watch every single indie sci-fi films out there. But please leave any comments below on what you think and other films. There are plenty of indie sci-fi and some horror films that we'll be working on. Again, I want to recap. This is a beta test for Name This Movie. We'll have more bells and whistles as we come along. And if you want to be a contestant, please email me. Those contestants who actually will appear inside. They'll be invited to appear with me inside the chat. And we'll at that point we'll show films, but we will also have questions. So please, again, leave any notes, like this program, like the Facebook, like the YouTube, and I hope to see you again. And what's the last thing? Again, on Saturday, we're doing a interview with Dr. Andrew Silverman, who is author of A Glimpse of Conscious Light, A Burst of Conscious Light. And where he will be exploring the Shroud of Turin, quantum mechanics, near-death experiences, and other good stuff. So I hope to see some of you there. And next Thursday, we haven't scheduled it yet, but it's set for next Thursday at 2 p.m. We'll be interviewing James Tunney, who's written many, many books on mysticism, and we'll be speaking about the impact of transhumanism. And it's closer than you think. If you are glued to that cell phone, chances are you're already on your way. So make sure you catch this very important program. Again, thank you all for coming. And for those who are coming afterwards, please leave any comments regarding this show. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. All roads lead to Rome. And hopefully we can build with your support. And only with your support can we really make this happen. Just think about it. First online sci-fi game show from a festival. So let's make sure that we rock and roll. We take it to the next level. So again, thank you for your support. And we'll see you again. Bye-bye.